synchronous generator and a synchronous motor. So let me see what is synchronous machine. So synchronous machine include synchronous generator and a synchronous motor. So synchronous generator and synchronous motor. So generator include which convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. So synchronous generator which is convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. Then synchronous motor is a motor concept which convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. So here we are going to see about the both machine, that is a synchronous machine. The construction of both machine are similar except the outer casing. Why the casing is different? Because the synchronous generator is placed in the generating room. So let me take thermal power plant. We know that thermal power plant is high dust area. Even though the generating spot, so generating station is a dusty area, but the generating room quite clean. But synchronous motor did not work in that places. It is worked in the production plant. So the dust particle are present because synchronous motor is act like a pump, blower, exhaust fan, cooling fan, such that there we have the dusty environment, heat environment, and different worst environment. So the outer chasing is directly depend upon the environment. So that is the only difference between synchronous generator and a synchronous motor. So we move to the GATE coaching. Once again, I am in Karthikeyan, Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Manimala Institute of Technology. Welcome you all for a GATE coaching. So let me move to the first question. So GATE question and answer. So while you preparing for a GATE, you must clearly understand the concept, because the GATE questionnaire, their ultimate aim is the students must prepare the concept, not only a memorizing of answer from the GATE book and simply replied in the paper. They are expecting the students must understand the concept. So we must prepare the GATE question with concept and a way of approaching the GATE and way of attending the GATE questions like that. So first question, a three-phase synchronous machine is dash excited machine. So normally what is excitation? So excitation is nothing but generation of static field, generation of static field to producing the EMF in the generator. So once the EMF generated produced in the armature conductor, the current flow through the armature conductor. While in the load condition, the armature current flow through the armature conductor is also producing the magnetic field. That is also taken as excitation. So the three-phase synchronous machine is doubly excited machine. So answer, a three-phase synchronous machine have two excitation. The AC excitation, that is the excitation due to the flow of AC current, that is in the armature, at armature, while DC excitation at field current. So that is maybe an answer. So we will move to the next one. Field winding of a DC machine. So in a conventional generator, so the pilot excitation. So the pilot excitation is nothing but a small DC shunt or a small DC machine which is connected along with the main generator to producing the DC supply to energize the main field winding. So here the question is field winding of DC machine. Option A, always absorb power. Option B, absorb real power at lagging load. Option C, deliver power while behaving as generator. Option D, always deliver power. So here you must think that the field did not produce any energy. It is used to produce DC, so it is used to produce that static field. That means field is always given supply from DC system. So it is always absorb power as it is necessary to produce the flux. So it always absorb the power. So let me move to the next question. And large synchronous machine. And large synchronous machine field winding is placed on dash and the AC supply on dash. So this is question for both synchronous generator and a synchronous motor. So hence the synchronous machine. So we must go to the back in initial days at the beginning of power generator. The Faraday generator started the power generating station near London. So he started the power station with DC supply. So he used DC generator. So DC generator we have rotating armature and stationary field. Later it turns to after the invention of synchronous machine. So the most of the power generating stations start to generate the AC supply have numerous advantage. Initially, they are start with rotating armature with stationary field. So they are taking slip ring. So not a slip because slip is a speed difference between stator and rotor, but the slip ring is a device which transfer. Slip ring is a device which transfer or connection between rotating circuit with the station rotating circuit with the stationary circuit. So the purpose of this is to connect between the stationary load to rotating armature. So there is a chance to transfer this armature to stator in AC only. But in case of DC, we cannot able to transfer it because we required commutator. So the commutator is a device which convert alternating current into direct current. So in synchronous generator, we did not require such conversion. So we are using slip ring. Later, we move to the stationary part because while we are including in the stationary stator, we can increase the voltage. So once you increase the voltage, you must increase the insulation. So insulation related to rise in weight. In the rotating system, due to the rise in weight, it will be unstable and it will be affected because of centrifugal force. While you are placed in the stator part, it is easy to handle and cool the armature. In initial stage, they are cool the armature, that is stationary armature, by using demineralized water. That means the armature conductor is hollow, the water is circulated in the hollow conductor. Why? Because due to the loss, that is variable loss, the conductor start to increase in temperature. That raised temperature is carried out by using the demineralized water. So demineralized water is a insulating one, so it did not conduct with the supply. Due to that, we can handle the demineralized water for cooling. So come to the question. The option rotor, stator, stator, rotor, armature, slot, pole shoe, and stator. So let me leave the C and D. So in a large machine, we recommend field winding in rotor because the field winding is placed on the stator, it will carry less current. While the AC supply in the is fed at the stator, as it will have to carry large amount of current. So option A is the correct. So rotor and stator. Then pilot exciter. So pilot exciter in the DC exciter is option A, DC shunt generator feeding field winding of main. Second thing, universal motor. Third thing, stepper motor feeding the field winding of a main D, any of the mentioned. So pilot exciter. What is pilot exciter? We must know what is pilot exciter. It's a small machine which is connected along with the main alternator. So the alternator capacity is 100 MVA. A small DC generator is fixed along with the shaft. From that, most of them come to the conclusion the option A is correct. So it's a quite correct DC shunt generator. So what is pilot exciter? So it is a small DC shunt generator is connect along with the main generator shaft. So it absorbs the mechanical energy from the shaft and producing the DC supply. That DC supply is feedback to the main generator field winding. So we did not depend upon the other devices. So it is a old method, it is a conventional method. So here the pilot exciter in the DC exciter is a DC shunt generator feeding field winding of main. So option is A. The pilot exciter is a DC shunt generator which supplies the field of main winding. What are the main problems faced by conventional DC exciter? Conventional DC exciter is nothing but pilot exciter. So it is a DC shunt generator which is connect along with the main shaft. So here we must understand that it is a separate machine from the main machine. So every machine have cooling and maintenance charge. Especially DC machine, we have the more maintenance charge compared to the AC machine. So cooling and maintenance is separate one. So another thing, wear and tear. So the DC machine, if we take DC machine, ultimately it consists of commutator. In the commutator, we are using brushes. So brushes is friction with the commutator is always. Due to that, there is a wear and tear between the moving part and the friction part. So the wear and tear is also presented. Then additional parasitic losses. The additional parasitic means the device which along with the main machine and absorb the input. That is a parasitic effect. So parasitic effect is nothing but a small machine which absorb the main machine input. Here also the pilot exciter is connected along with the shaft. So it absorbs the mechanical input given to the main generator. So it is also act like a parasitic losses. So because it absorbs the mechanical input. So option D, all of them issue. So when the three answer is included in the question, we can mention all of the mention. So the conventional DC exciter have all the above mentioned losses which make them out of date and least efficient. So today it is not the practical use, the conventional only is used. Then the static exciter. Here the static word indicate there is a no moving parts. There is a no moving parts present in the machine. There is a no moving part. In the electrical machine also we have static machine. What is it? What is a static machine? What is a static machine? Nothing but it's a transformer. Because transformer have no moving part. So hence it is a static machine. Here the transformer we did not use that. So leave the transformer. So here we read the four optional answers. Brushless excitation system. So brushless excitation system may be quite good, but there is no description about the static equipment. Then thyristor based excitation system. So thyristor is also one of the static device because static device is nothing but it's an electronic component. Most of the electronic component are static device like PN junction diode, thyristor, transistor, IGBT, MOSFET, GTO. These are all the static devices. Then synchronous motor excitation system. So excitation system they did not mention any other static equipment. Then brushless and thyristor based excitation system. So here the question is static excitation mainly comprised of. So that means the excitation system mainly comprised of which equipment we are using mainly in static excitation system. That is option B, thyristor. The common name is SCR. The SCR is nothing but silicon controlled rectifier are used in the rectifier configuration as a static system for excitation of DC field winding. Then we move to the next question. The excitation system and the speed of the alternator. So the excitation system and the speed of the alternators directly depend upon the proportion of speed. So let me read the answers: linear response, exponential response, regular hyperbola response, circular response. So the speed is directly depend upon the excitation system, and the speed of the alternator has directly proportional to the speed. So let me take, in initial condition the alternator have nearly zero because it have some voltage. This is due to residential magnetism present in the alternator. So in where which place the residential magnetism is stored? The answer is field. So the field is always producing the static magnetic field. So it have some stored of residential magnetism. It may be stored nearly 2 to 3 years. So the amount of residential magnetism is very small. Even though it is small, it will help to build the EMF because the field system is directly dependent upon the alternator voltage. So once my alternator input and the prime mover start to rotate, the field also start to rotate. From that residential magnetism, the alternator produce small amount of voltage. That small amount of voltage is returned back to the field. The field start to energized. The continuous process of this one built the alternator up to desired voltage. Once it reach the rated voltage, the automatic voltage regulator AVR, the AVR will regulate the output voltage. So the answer is A, linear response. As the excitation energy is directly taken from the alternator terminal, the excitation voltage is directly proportional to the speed. Then next question, the brushless excitation. So the brushless excitation and a conventional DC excitation system are comparable, but one significant change is it is a conventional. The question itself it is mentioned conventional. A pilot exciter is brushless permanent magnet motor. Three-phase rectifier fed directly to main exciter. A three-phase rectifier is fed by the main exciter. No direct rectification is provided to the pilot exciter. So here the brushless excitation. There is a word mentioned, brushless excitation, and another thing is conventional DC excitation. So here in that they require, if it is a conventional excitation, they did not, if they are did not mention the brushless excitation means we can choose the any one of them. The brushless excitation. So brushless excitation in conventional method. So in present days we are using SCR. So three-phase rectifier, as a three-phase rectifier, the option B and the option C is not a conventional one. So no direct rectification is provided to the pilot exciter. That means they did not have the brushless excitation. So in a conventional method, the no direct rectification is provided to the pilot exciter. So quite normal. But the question is the brushless excitation. So the pilot exciter is brushless permanent magnet motor. So here the motor is a word to confuse yourself. but the pilot exciter is excited by the permanent magnet. The brushless excitation involves a brushless permanent magnet motor which act like a auxiliary exciter. Then we move to the next question. The main exciter used in DC excitation is field on stator, armature on stator, field on rotor, field on poles. So we know that the field winding is in rotor. In main DC machine, in main synchronous generator, we are using rotating field. But here, the question is not like that. The main exciter usually in, so don't answer suddenly. The main exciter means it may be in the rotor, field on the rotor. But they are asking the main exciter used in DC excitation is. So DC excitation, that is field on stator, because in DC excitation, so here they are speak about the pilot exciter. So in pilot exciter it's a DC shunt generator. So DC shunt generator, we are using field on stator. So the main exciter used in DC excitation is field on stator. So next question, if the DC excitation is suddenly dropped to 0, if the DC excitation is suddenly dropped to 0, the three-phase alternator. So initially we discussed that synchronous generator and synchronous motor, both the construction are same. But in synchronous generator, we are producing the power that it convert mechanical energy into electrical energy. But in case of synchronous motor, the machine is convert electrical energy into mechanical energy. So let me read the optional answer. Run as motor to stop zero speed in few seconds, continues to run as motor but a low speed, no change in the operating condition. So before we discuss about the question, we must learn what is synchronous motor. Synchronous motor, the construction of synchronous generator and synchronous motor is a similar one. So synchronous motor is only running synchronous speed. So it can capable to run only in synchronous speed. So it have zero starting torque. So zero starting torque means we have no starting torque. So we required separate arrangement to start the synchronous machine. That is synchronous motor. That is small DC motor, damper winding, synchronous induction motor, and a pony motor. So this method to start the synchronous motor by reach the synchronous motor up to the synchronous speed. Ns is equal to 120 F divided by P. That is 120 into frequency divided by number of poles. So they bring the rotor of the synchronous motor up to the synchronous speed. Then the supply is given to the stator. Suddenly it comes to the magnetic locking. The magnetic locking kept the motor in the synchronous speed. Once the load angle increased up to the 90-degree angle, when it increase over 90-degree angle, it suddenly lose the synchronous speed and come to rest position. But here, the excitation is dropped to 0. What will happen? So, the motor is running synchronous speed. So, the speed of the machine is synchronous speed. Once it drop the excitation supply, it start to rotate as a motor, as a synchronous motor. But the problem is, when the excitation is low, it absorbs the reactive power to keep the magnetic field as constant. So when it absorbs the reactive power means it acts like a lagging power factor. So the answer, when the DC excitation is disconnected from the supply, it will start acting as synchronous motor, as a prime mover will still be mechanical coupled. So next question, the magnetizing current drawn from AC supply. A synchronous motor, a magnetizing current drawn from a AC supply. A synchronous motor is used to option A, set up flux in a magnetic circuit of a device. Option B, compensate for loss. Option C, set up magnetizing armature reaction. Option D, all of the mentioned. So in the magnetizing current set up the flux need in the machine. So it draw the from magnetizing current means it absorb the reactive power from the supply. So used to set up magnetic circuit of the device. That is the correct answer. Then a three-phase synchronous motor is working at normal excitation. Then the flux deflection in circuit is a three-phase synchronous motor is working at normal excitation. Then the flux deficient in circuit is option A, given by armature winding MMF. Option B, given by field winding MMF. Option C, supplied to armature winding MMF. Option D, supplied to field winding MMF. So explanation is, it is given by the armature winding MMF. Then the excess flux in synchronous motor is neutralized by the excess flux in synchronous motor is neutralized by option A, armature winding by drawing demagnetizing component of the current from AC supply. Option B, armature winding by drawing magnetizing component of the current from AC supply. Option C, field winding by drawing demagnetizing component of the current from DC supply. Option D, field winding by drawing magnetizing component of the current from DC supply. So the excess flux is neutralized by the demagnetizing component. So the answer is option A. So then V curve of synchronous motor is plotted between the V curve. So before we go to the V curve. So what is the armature current in various power factor? So we know that synchronous motor can run in any power factor. There is only one load that can operate in a different power factor. It is a synchronous motor, because induction motor run only in lagging power factor. But The synchronous motor can operate in lagging power factor, leading power factor, and the unity power factor. So what is power factor? The machine which absorbs the reactive power. So absorb the reactive power means that is in lagging power factor. The machine which delivers the reactive power, that is leading power factor. So while you excite the DC motor, synchronous motor, when it is over excited, it is leading power factor. When it is low excitation, that is lagging power factor. When it is work at critical excitation, it is in unity power factor. So while you draw the y-axis at armature current and the x-axis with the field current. So the armature current P is equal to VI cos phi. Let me take V as constant and shaft load as constant. So power as constant. So the varying thing is power factor, and based on that the armature current is changed. So let me take Ia is equal to P divided by V into cos phi. When cos phi is equal to 1, the current is minimum. Even though it is a lagging power factor or leading power factor, the values in 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.2 and 0.1, it will reduce the denominator value. Ultimately, the result will be high. While the denominator will be reduced, the result will be high. You know that? So, when the power factor, it may be a leading or lagging, it will reduce the denominator value. Ultimately, the current value is high. Let me start with zero field winding. So minimum field winding, it have the high power factor lagging. So the armature current is very high. Now we start to increase the field current. So it start to increase in power factor. So once the power factor increase, ultimately the armature current start to decrease. So in the critical excitation, it reached the cos phi 1. So while we continuously increasing the field current, it moved to the leading power factor. Even though it is a leading power factor, the value is start from 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2 and 0.1. So current start to once again increase. So current start to decrease and increase. That is the V shape. So hence the answer is Ia versus If, not a If versus Ia. While you draw the If versus Ia means the current is in greater than symbol. So while increasing the power field current, the armature current start to increase. Initially increase and less than simple. So we will not consider about the inverted V curve. So answer is Ia versus If. So when the constant power output is determined to maintain EF sin del and Ia cos theta are to be maintained constant. Option B, EF sin del is be maintained constant. Option C, Ia cos theta is to be maintained constant. Option D, EF sin del and Ia sin theta are to be maintained constant. So we know that a constant real power output, the component of the excitation voltage lagging to Vt should remain constant as per the phasor diagram. So constant power output, the option is A. Then when the excitation voltage increase, from 1 to 1.3 per unit. Of the three-phase synchronous motor, the load angle of the constant power operation must be decreased, can also be increased, decreased. So we know that the EF sin del is to be maintained constant. So if excitation voltage increase, then the load angle must be decreased. Then armature current is dash at UPF, unity power factor, when compared to the leading power factor of the motor. So the option is minimum, maximum, equal, none of the mentioned. So the armature current is dash at unity power factor. So normally when compared to the leading or lagging, so at the stage of unity power factor, it maintains minimum. So the same question for lagging power factor, we know that we already discussed that even though it may be a lagging or leading, when compared to the unity power factor, the armature current at minimum at unity power factor than motor at lagging power factor. So inverted V plot between power factor versus field current for constant shaft load, field current versus power factor for variable shaft load, armature current versus field current, terminal voltage versus power factor. Ultimately, the option A, power factor versus field current for constant shaft load. So the power system having an induction motor load. The power system having an induction motor load, an overexcited synchronous motor is also attached. Then overall power factor. They did not mention the particular power factor of the machine. The overall power factor of improves, degrades, become unity power factor and remain same. So remain same is not a quite good answer because the power system have induction motor load and overexcited synchronous motor is also attached. So then the overall power factor, so it may be become unity power factor, but they did not mention the how much excitation. Remain same is not a correct answer, and it did not degrade because overexcited synchronous motor acts like a synchronous condenser. So the answer is A, improves, and overexcited synchronous motor act as a source of lagging reactive power, and so overall power factor becomes improves. So from the previous question, it is a similar one, but it is a twisted question. Don't twist with that. A power system having an induction motor load. For a power system having an induction motor load, and overexcited synchronous motor is also attached, the induction motor will now operated. So they did not ask about the overall power factor or power system power factor. So while you measure the power factor at the point of induction motor, so answer is lagging and leading, reduced power factor or increased power factor. So the question is, they did not ask about the condition of power system. They did not ask the condition of overall power factor. They are asking what is the induction motor operator. So even though it may be connected with the overexcited synchronous motor, the induction motor can only run in lagging power factor. So adding a synchronous motor will improve the power factor of the system, but then the induction motor will still work at lagging power factor only. So next, synchronous compensator. So synchronous is otherwise named as synchronous condenser. So synchronous compensator are synchronous motor, overexcited synchronous motor with no mechanical load. So synchronous compensator are otherwise called synchronous condenser. So overexcited motor with a mechanical load. Under-excited synchronous motor with no mechanical load. Normal excited motor with no mechanical load. So while in critical excitation, it acts like a unity power factor. In normal excitation, it acts like a lagging power factor. Under excitation, it acts like a lagging power factor. So the answer is between A and B. Overexcited without mechanical load, overexcited with mechanical load. So while we connecting the mechanical load, it also absorbs some magnetizing current. So the power factor will be reduced. But without magnetic load, the machine is act like a pure condenser with overexcitation. So a synchronous compensator or overexcited synchronous motor with no mechanical load. Let me see the relation question. The speed of an isolated alternator can be. The speed of an isolated, the word you must notice that isolated alternator. That means it run the load isolatedly. It is not connected to the infinite bus bar or bus. So infinite bus bar can be, so speed of an alternator connected to infinite bus bar can be also altered. So the problem is the speed of an isolated, that means separate a running alternator can be altered. Speed of an alternator connected to infinite bus bar can be also altered. So which of the statement is correct? The option A, first one is correct, second one is wrong. Option B, both are correct. Option C, first one is wrong, second one is correct. Option D, both are wrong. So while you are carrying the load separately, let me imagine you are carrying one bag with your hand. You can be able to move it up and down without any difficulties. Suppose four of them carrying the load. If you try to raise the load up means you are share the more load. If you are down your hand means you are leave, but the load remains constant. So from that, the speed of an alternator connected to infinite bus bar cannot be changed, as it has to be a fixed frequency. But in case of isolated one, there is no issue. The answer is A. Then another one, comparative questions. For constant power of an isolated alternator, V curve can be obtained. For a constant power of an alternator connected to infinite bus bar, V curve can be obtained. So option A is, first one is true, second one is false. Option B, both are true. Option C, first one is false, second one is true. Option D, both are false. So the answer is C, because if it is isolated alternator, the power you cannot change. For a constant power of isolated alternator, the V curve cannot be obtained, because for an isolated alternator working at constant power, we cannot alter the armature current to have a V curve. So the while you alternating change the armature current means it affects the load. So the armature current is directly depend upon the load. But in case of infinite bus bar connector, that means we are connected in the infinite bus bar, we can alter the current by varying the mechanical input. So while increasing the mechanical input, the armature current start to increase. While you decreasing the mechanical input, ultimately the armature current start to decrease. So option C, for an isolated alternator working at constant power, we cannot alter the armature current to have P curve, while is possible at the machine connected to infinite bus bar. So the operating frequency and voltage of an isolated alternator dash if the prime mover input to the motor is increased. So the operating frequency of an isolated alternator by the options is increase, decrease, remain constant, and D is no relation exists between the power and the frequency. So by varying the prime mover torque, the load angle will as well as operating frequency also get affected. So while you change the operating frequency means while you change the prime mover speed, ultimately you can change the frequency output. So active power delivered by an alternator. Active power delivered by an alternator will be dash when the prime mover input is increased for the alternator connected to infinite bus bar. So active power delivered by the alternator will dash when the prime mover input is increased. So we know that after the parallel operation of alternator. So we have three more conditions. So while we satisfied that condition, that is voltage must be same, the frequency must be same, and the phase frequency must be same. This can be tested by using the three method: dark lamp method, bright lamp method, and the synchronous scope method. By satisfying the condition of this method, we are paralleling the alternator. After the parallel operation, the alternator is connected to infinite bus bar, but that condition is called floating condition. The floating condition is nothing but the generator is connected with the grid, but there is no power transfer between the generator and the grid. Once we increasing the mechanical input, so if it is an isolated generator, while increasing the prime mover input, the speed of the alternator start to increase. But in case of alternator connected in the infinite bus bar, the active power start to increase. So active power delivered by the alternator will increase when the prime mover input is increased for the alternator connected to infinite bus bar. The load angle will increase, so the real power will increase in case of prime mover input. In salient pole machine, we know that salient pole machine, the armature MMF cannot be accounted for by introducing one equivalent reluctance due to non-uniform air gap, variable resistance, non-uniform air gap. That is a repetition question, repetition answer. uniform air gap, that may be a correct one, and any of the mentioned. So answer is non-uniform air gap, it may be A or C. So then, if the internal power factor angle of synchronous motor is 30 degree, then the direct axis component of armature current will be, so ID is equal to IA cos psi sin psi. ID is equal to psi. ID is equal to IA sin psi. So here let me take IA is equal to 1, then sin 30. So sin 30 we get 0.5 per unit. Option is A. Then if the internal power factor angle of synchronous motor is 30 degree, then the quadrature axis component of the armature is A 0.866, B 0.5, C 1.73 and D is 0. So answer ID is equal to IA into cos psi. So 1 into cos 30. So 1 into cos 30 we get 0.866. So let me take 400 volt, 3 phase alternator given open circuit voltage of 380 volt and armature current of 38 amps at a field current of 20 amps, then the synchronous reactance of the machine is, so Z is equal to Vt divided by Ia. So the here the open circuit voltage is 380, so divided by 30 amps is equal to 10 ohms. While finding the parameter of an alternator, it is voltage regulation is found to be negative, then the load connected to be must capacitive in nature, inductive in nature, resistive in nature, cannot be judged about the voltage regulation. So if the regulation is negative, the voltage regulation is negative, then the load is in the capacity because it is a leading. So the given voltage regulation is mentioned as negative. So it must be a load with source of reactive power and hence must be a capacitor. A synchronous motor, its power factor improves with increase in excitation and may even become leading and higher excitation. It depends on its excitation. Decrease with increase in excitation, increase with loading for a given excitation. So answer, as per the inverter curve, it can be easily concluded as the excitation increase, the synchronous motor become leading power factor. Then for obtaining maximum current, we can conduct slip test for synchronous machine. Its armature field align along D axis, Q axis, 45 degree to D axis, 45 degree to Q axis. So the maximum current is observed that low reluctance which along with Q axis. So option is D. One of the most predominant component of base load is, so one of the most predominant component of base load is synchronous generator, induction generator, DC series generator, all of them mentioned. So one of the most predominant, this is the first topic we discussed. So synchronous generator is one of the major role in the base load. So this is a synchronous generator, option A. So synchronous machine are the main generating selection of the power plant. So dash alternator used in the thermal station and the dash alternator used in the idle power. So thermal station, the speed of the alternator must be high. In idle power plant, the speed of the alternator must be slow. So we have two different alternators, salient and non-salient. So here first is cylindrical rotor and a salient pole. Second one is salient pole and cylindrical rotor. Third one is cylindrical pole and a reluctance. Fourth one is cylindrical rotor and a cylindrical rotor. So cylindrical rotor. The non-salient pole alternator is otherwise called cylindrical rotor because it has uniform air gap. The construction is in the cylindrical manner. So hence it is called cylindrical rotor. So the option is A. Due to the salient pole, the machine will not run at very large speed and become less error. So synchronous compensator are mainly employed for. So compensator or synchronous condenser is used to deliver the reactive power. So compressing reactive power, compressing real power, improving power factor, compressing field flux. So the main thing is we are delivering the reactive power. That is the correct answer. Due to the delivering of reactive power, the action is improving in power factor. We compare to the both answer, the A is correct. Synchronous compensator is a source of reactive power. We prefer induction motor over synchronous motor due to. So mainly they due to starting problem. Second thing, sensitive to environment. All of them mentioned. So no required of DC supply. So induction motor did not require any DC supply, but synchronous motor required a DC supply. So it's a major problem. Condition which allow the torque to be taken care of choosing synchronous motor. Condition which allow the torque to be taken care of choosing synchronous motor. Which type of carrying to be taken? Starting torque, pull-in torque, pull-out torque. So we must consider these three things. So all the mentioned. So all the performance torque are needed to know before using the synchronous motor, because we know that synchronous motor have nil starting torque. While you are using damper winding, it may be start like an induction motor. Then synchronous machine with field winding on stator and polyphase armature winding on rotor. A steady state, its air gap field is stationary with respect to stator, rotating at a double the speed of ns with respect to rotor, rotating in direction opposed to rotor. All of them mentioned. So all are the correct answer. So D is a correct answer. So synchronous machine with a field winding on rotor and polyphase. So synchronous machine with a field winding on rotor and polyphase armature winding on stator. At a steady state running condition, its air gap field is stationary with respect to stator, rotating at double the ns with respect to rotor, rotating as minus ns with respect to rotor, stationary with respect to rotor. So the field is on rotor itself. The air gap will be stationary with respect to rotor. So a sur gap it's not a sur gap, it's a air gap. Choose the appropriate synchronous generator used in the thermal power station. Choose the appropriate synchronous generator used in the thermal power station. Cylindrical rotor, slip ring and brushes, laminator rotor, stator slots in the multiple of 6 salient rotor. So here option A is 1, 2, 4. Option B is 2, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. Option C 1 and 3. Option D 2. Choose appropriate synchronous generator used in the thermal power station. So slip ring and brushes, laminated rotor, stator slots in the multiple of 6 and salient rotor. The thermal power plant use cylindrical rotor synchronous machine. So option A. So practical speed range of the thermal, nuclear and hydel power plant in RPM. So what is a practical speed? Here they did not mention the frequency. So if the frequency is 50, let me take frequency is 50. So the option A is 3000, 3300, 3300, 300, 1500, 1500, 3000, 1500, 3000. Simple logic. Hydro power plant is very slow. So choose third one is low RPM. So from that A and B have the choice. But nuclear power plant and thermal power plant has the same concept. In thermal power plant we are using coal. In nuclear power plant we are using fusion process. So the 3000, 3000 and 300 is correct. The thermal and nuclear power plant have high speed requirements and the hydel power plant have salient pole generator, so the speed is also less. So next question, synchronous motor have preferred for driving the load required in high power at low speed. So option is true. Synchronous motor act as a capacitor when operating at leading power factor with no load. Then zero power factor characteristics. Zero power factor characteristics used in the Portier plot can be obtained by the loading the alternator using synchronous motor, lamp load, DC motor and induction motor. So zero power factor we can use synchronous motor because at a zero excitation field it acts like a zero power factor lagging. Below are the statement about cylindrical rotor alternator. A second one, a EMF generated by a armature reaction lag the armature current by 90 degree. B, air gap voltage lead the field flux by 90 degree. Option A is true. Option B, only B is true. Option C, A is true, B is false. Option C, option D, A and B are true. So to obtain MMF and EMF drop, the loading is done as synchronous motor. So option is A is true. Okay students. So today we are see about the synchronous machine on behalf of Gate Coaching. Because of Gate Coaching. Thank you for listening the class. Once again, I am introduce myself and I am in Karthikeyan, Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering for Panimala Institute of Technology. Thank you, students.